And we're live, and welcome to episode 10 of the Qué Pasó Podcast. I am Ernest.
I am Eduardo.
I'm Ozzy.
And
I am
here is
Yama.
our spiritual founder, the one who made this possible, our cafecita, the patron saint of this podcast.
Hailing from the heartland of the Inca Empire, right here to you.
I'm here. Hi, people of the world and the internet. How are you guys?
Okay,
We're all good. So, guys, Brazil.
Oh, Brazil.
Oh, do Brazil.
Everything is happening right now
I've heard that the samba is. Yeah, I've heard that this Rio Carnival is going to be bigger than ever. So as far as I've seen, with 97% of the tables already accounted for, Bolsonaro is taking 46.5% of the votes, with at least around 48 million people having voted for him. With second place, Fernando Haddad from the PT, 28.6%. That's 20 million votes. I don't know. I never expected Bolsonaro to have such a high rating. I kind of expected to be more
in the 30s?
more contested. More contested. I think I expected that the two guys will be tied for 30%, and then he will win. He will win marginally for just a few percent, but never like that. Never like this.
Yeah.
Well, the Guardian is freaking out.
Yeah. And the fact that Haddad didn't reach 30% is really, you should be worrying for everybody that doesn't like Bolsonaro.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I think it's the Trump effect.
Could be.
No, I think it's the Venezuela effect because Brazil is getting a lot of immigrants from there. I mean, they have to mobilize the army to the border because, unlike us here in Peru, that people have to cross through Colombia and Ecuador and just get here, and they just probably move around. They actually is getting a lot of a very big mass of people just crossing the Amazonas, actually crossing that, and going to regions that are very poor, and they can sustain themselves just like they are now. So imagine a poor Amazonian community receiving a lot of hungry Venezuelans. So people notice these things, and they are not stupid. I mean, they probably don't have a very good education. They probably don't have a lot of money, but they know that whatever is happening in Venezuela is bad. So they say, I don't want that for my country. So I'm gonna vote for what it is not. So, and they are gonna vote obviously for the man who say, you know what, I am against that. That's pretty much the fact. I mean, yeah, Trump has got to do, but I mean, it's really affected much what Trump does or does not here. I mean, people are voting for the right because Trump is right wing. Unless in my case, I haven't seen that much. It's more like the right, just the right growing, but not because it's Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, many people say I don't think this is either the Trump effect. I mean, yes, the election of Trump and the Brexit and the referendums in Colombia and Hungary that were almost all at the same time, where all of them went in the same right-wing populistic direction. Maybe maybe I don't think it's all because of Trump. No, I think it's the whole right wing. It's something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is too. I mean, I can't say that I have the same experience with it all because as a white guy in Canada who only goes to Peru for fun and fancy and Lomo Soltado. I don't know too much like at least Brazil because they're like discount Latinos. Hi to all my Brazilian friends. But No, like I think this is a change, and I think we're starting to see like the right resurge in South America.
Yes.
Except Mexico.
Yeah.
Sadly.
This actually scares me because we're having a guy who is basically saying that the military dictatorship was okay, and I'm just sitting here thinking, how long till we have a Chilean president who says the exact same thing, that the dictatorship was okay? Now, up to this point, we haven't had one who has said it directly. We had a candidate, but he was wildly unpopular back then. But
Yeah.
I
I
believe
remember him.
yes. But the thing is, I understand why people vote for Bolsonaro. The thing is that I don't like him. The only thing I like about him is the memes that this man has produced.
Yes, I disagree a lot with Bolsonaro too, but I guess this is the pendulum effect that I always tell you. Like the most left you have, the more right wing you're gonna have, right? So at this point in Chile, I mean, you have the left, but not as bad as in Brazil, not in this awful way. So it's like people say, okay, the left being radical is bad, but the right being radical is bad too, which is kind of like is happening in here in Peru, which people don't like right wing, extreme right wing because we have Fujimori for many years. They don't like the radical left either because we also have a war against them for 2 years. So it's like people, even right wing or left wing, acknowledge that the extremes are very bad, and so because we have both, people wanted to walk away from both sides. So it's pretty much like Poland, They know Nazism and they know communism, so they don't like either of them. But
Yes.
Brazil doesn't really have this, moderate right-wing party so far, and because they come from very extreme left, like I forgot Lula, who was
Lula da Silva.
Lula da Silva, who was very leftist, and they pretty much take Brazil to bankrupt. They were very close to actually, when you see the numbers of the economics of South America, you can see that, funny enough, Bolivia goes first, follows Peru. I think Colombia follows. I don't remember. In the last number is obviously Venezuela, and the two before Venezuela are Argentina and Brazil. So this is why people there vote for the right, not because they necessarily agree with many things he said. Because Macri, I think he washed his hands away from this whole pro-abortion, movement. He didn't support anybody. So mostly of the right wingers or anti-SJW people who somehow support right wing in Argentina don't like him either because he was too neutral. They want a movement that was more on the right, but he was the only thing they have.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you say. Now, I've been seeing people on Twitter actually trying to link this victory with race, and I feel that that's a gross oversimplification, and that's actually quite racist.
No, yes, I just pointed out earlier that it has nothing to do with race because there is not like an electoral college like in the United States. So in these areas, it's mostly a very there is not much people living there. It's the Amazonians pretty much. I mean, you only have their indigenous communities. I'm not saying like just poor people. I'm not talking about that. It's real communities that still are pretty much pre-industrial in many aspects. So they are abandoned by the state. So they have every reason to want something that is leftist. It's not because they are smarter, they are more noble, or all this nonsense. Because they really say, I want someone who's gonna say, I'm going to protect you, I'm going to take care of you, I'm going to try to give you all the needs you want. So it is understanding because there is an area here in the Amazonians. It's in the core of the jungle where the left won by 100%. Every single person vote for the left because they want a change. And by the next election, when they realized this guy was not doing what they want, they vote for the right. They pretty much all turn for the right because okay, you didn't give us what you promised, so bye, Felicia. And if Bolsonaro actually managed to get in touch with these communities in Brazil, he's going to establish that the right wing comes back in Latin America for good because they're going to see that the right is not ignoring them.
Also, I think one of the biggest problems I have with Bolsonaro about this guy is the fact that when I start reading about the things he says, more importantly, this seems a lot like the U.S. election in the fact that, first of all, Bolsonaro was someone who has to do nothing with politics a lot, and no, a correction.
He's been a politician.
Yes, he was a politician, and then when he came with his presidential bid, he came with it saying that no, I'm not one of those career politicians and stuff. The fun part is that he used social media with great advantage. He had a Twitter account, I think, with like up to 1 million followers. He has a YouTube channel. So he's doing something that Trump is currently doing that is actually working for Trump. The fact that he's using his own Twitter account, the fact that the media doesn't work as like this filter for his opinions. That his followers receive his opinions without the coverage from the media.
Okay, just remember this that you're saying for when we are talking about the anti-meme law because it's relevant for that topic too.
Okay, and what else is okay? And you see, I read a lot of things about Bolsonaro. For example, things he has said about black people in Brazil. Things he has said about gay people. He has said about women in general. Now, when I've heard that Trump said something offensive, I just like kind of brushed it over because most of the time I read stuff, it was like, okay, so Trump said this and this. How is this offensive? And then I start reading Bolsonaro stuff. I mean, it can't be that bad. And then I start reading and it says, I wouldn't love my kids if they were gay.
Oh, holy shit.
No, really. He has said that. Or it's just that, I mean, it's not like, well, if Bolsonaro had appeared like years before, I would be happy because I was in the whole own the lips thing, but now I'm not. I'm actually kind of like worried. I mean, for one, I'm kind of happy that the left is finally they're telling them, okay, go fuck yourself and go sort your shit out. Because Bolsonaro and his supporters didn't just came out of the Amazon jungle. No, these were people who grew tired of the leftist establishment, and they saw on the right wing an opportunity to just give a middle finger to the establishment. And I won't be surprised if this happened everywhere else in Latin America. Because this is here in Chile we have Piñera again. Why? Because people were tired of Michelle Bachelet, who was a leftist. They were tired about his government. They were tired about his politics. They were tired that the left was too busy with infighting. No. They decided to go for the right wing candidate.
And he's like not super right wing. He's just an old boomer.
I mean, I've seen people call him a fascist. And he doesn't even qualify. He's as you said. I would just say, well, he's a boomer. He can't
Catholic, listen. If he puts on a cape, if he starts wearing a cape, and he actually looks suitable in a cape, then we know he's the Chilean version of a fascist. I mean that's how you determine. It's like vampires and mirrors. It's Chileans in capes. If you put the cape around the Chilean, and all of a sudden you hear helicopters slowly whirl in the background, you know that this guy's a fascist. It's also like in Peru, if you put a politician in a tank and he runs over the front gate of Congress, he's not good.
Yeah.
Or he starts.
Something that. Oh, sorry. Keep talking, please. Finish. I'm gonna drink my tea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no, but I'm speaking of old Japanese men, guess who's back in prison?
Oh shit!
I mean, I can just imagine, Montesinos was just sitting in his cell like, man, it's so good. I finally get some time to think and relax and work on my memoirs and bake biscuits and fuck, Alberto's back. And all of a sudden you just hear, hola, Vladi, ¿cómo estás, amigo? I'm back.
I mean,
Can I tell you old people stories?
The guy is back in jail, but he's not. I think he's still in the hospital, and the hospital is in like 10 blocks from my house. So, the other day
Don't get any
I was
ideas.
there. I was I was busy, but my friend told me that he lives close there. That they were fighting the people from his support of each of the kids. So the Kenji party and the Keiko party was fighting over his father in front of the hospital. And my friend was like, oh, please, can they also kill each other? And the thing is, like, I mean, this is also something good. I mean, the far right here is also dying because most people, I'm not like that there is the much influence of the progressive left, even in the right here. And there are some right wingers who are into my pronouns and shit like that. But the right, the Fujimori right, is dying. And
Fujimori was not even far right though. He was like he was like a neocon.
No. They were far right. They actually believe in ultra crony capitalism. They were pretty much for kill the Indians. We don't really care if they die. So
I know. I remember. I kind of remember the whole sterilize the nativos thing. That was kind of messed up. And also, didn't the current Cardinal of Lima or the Cardinal of Peru kind of support it when he was bishop of where was it, to Ayacucho?
Yeah, I mean, the guy is very controversial because he indeed tried to protect his people from terrorism. So he's given a chance, not for that. But at the same time, he was kind of like mad that there are, human rights groups trying to defend certain groups and all that. And I mean, I can see pretty much what is the fight here in Latin America for human rights in that aspect, because I mean, it's what happened with Pinochet. Okay, I can understand that the communism is dangerous, so you want to get rid of communism, but you cannot just go and shoot a communist in the face. I mean, realistically speaking, memes aside,
or throw him from a helicopter.
You don't have any proof that the person actually is a communist. Also, owning a book about communism doesn't necessarily make you a communist. Also, someone who is interested in communism, you cannot just kill them. So it's very complicated because that's what Pinochet, Fujimori, this other guy from Argentina, whose name I just forgot.
Kirchner.
No.
Or Allende.
Much.
Allende.
No, Allende was a communist. No. Videla. Yeah, Videla. Because Videla also did the same thing. I mean, they captured people who were suspicious of being leftist, communists, and they killed them. And many of them were not. I mean, look what happened in all the missing people in Argentina. And I think in Uruguay, they actually, kidnapped kids from leftist parents and given them away to families who are not leftist. I mean, it was a complete disaster. So this is an idea that is finally dying here. Like, people are finally realizing that you don't oppose far left with far right.
Guys, I don't think we should say the C word too much, because every time you say communism, you slowly hear this. Helicopters, and it just goes away. It's like a rat under a door. You have to say that, and it goes away, and it waits for a bit, and then it comes back as Bernie Sanders. Lamino's not really a communist.
What happened to you, Bernie? You had a solid chance of beating Trump, and then
he ran out of Cialis.
The Democratic Party happened. That's what happened.
Yeah. Then Hillary cucked you, and then you start saying that Scandinavia was socialist.
There is someone in the chat asking, do you think there is a chance
Hello, person in the chat.
could beat Bolsonaro in the second round.
No,
Bolsonaro.
no, because
Bolsonaro.
all Haddad is essentially Lula's puppet. You know, he's his I think what's the word in Spanish? I'm trying to outdo Tyler Preston today. So marioneta.
Haddad is a kebab.
I found a tweet that actually kind of like resumes the fact. It says Bolsonaro is Trump if Trump was actually as bad as the press says he is, and Haddad is basically Maduro if Maduro was more corrupt and less stupid. That's true. I mean, that's true. I mean, I've read every word about Bolsonaro, and everything just screams this guy is the most is a racist, is a sexist. It's everything that the media said about Trump, but just the fact that he's real. And he got elected, and he's about to be elected.
But
anyway.
When is the second round?
He has nice
Okay,
hair.
according to Google, it says that so far Bolsonaro have 46.5%,
Well,
which is not enough to win.
Well, I found an article. Also found out that there is two Jorge Munoz. One is a very, very short Colombian man who got a CNN medal. If you look him up, he's literally a very, very short man. And then the other one is the mayor of Lima now.
Yay!
But no, he used to be the mayor of Miraflores, and I automatically don't like him because I dislike Miraflores. It's too modern and scary. It's too modern and clean.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I am going to Miraflores, sometimes people look at me like, "What is she doing here?" Like
it's the white people like enclave. It's where all like the old American tourists go to like ogle like Peruvian women. And
yeah, but you know what? It's kind of changing because middle classes are becoming more diverse, naturally diverse. Okay, so for example, in what it was the posh district here, you see a lot of white people. Now, when I was in the very very rich areas where there is people with a lot of money, there was like a month ago I was there for health issues. You see, there's a lot of people who are not white anymore. You can see that they have some white in them, but most of the people was pretty much like me. It's changing. It is not forced. It's changing naturally because we don't have a white majority. So more people are actually making money. Immigrants from the Andes are making money, so they can buy better houses. They can buy. They can get a better education for their kids. They move to places they find prettier. So there is a lot of people who are white, yes, in many areas, but there are others where there's all kind of people. So of course there is a lot of race, but it's like I was explaining. There is a lot of racist people living here, but it's not the same like saying that every people living here are racist. This
racist in Peru, impossible. I have never seen such a thing in my wait. Yes, I have. But no, like I'm just gonna wait for like actually the fanciest place I ever went was La Puente in Callao. That was fancy.
I heard Callao is dangerous.
But
Callao, it's a terrible area here.
It is horrifying. You get out. I'm sorry. I have to give the white guy respect.
It depends where you go.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
There's a place called the Barracones.
Hey guys,
when you hear that name,
hey guys,
people are like,
there's a new poll about the Brazilian election.
Ooh.
A what?
Yes. Yeah, there's a new one. Actually, Jeb Bush just arrived and he just snatched all the votes.
Again.
Again.
Listen, Jeb Bush is the Napoleon of the Napoleon of the 21st century. He just sweeps everything. He comes in and he's just like, immigration is a labor is a labor of love, and those immigrants give us their love, and everyone just says, "Yes, Cheb, yes, you
Yeah.
are our emperor, our god emperor." Plus, his wife is Latina, and she doesn't put up with anything. So I mean, she's just there stuffing ballot boxes, beating up the opposition.
Please clap.
Yeah, no.
por ti, papi.
Oh my god! Oh no! Don't make me imagine that. Oh God in heaven! But Yama, somebody's asking. Do you think that Jorge Munoz's victory in Lima would help a possible Barnechea presidency in 2021?
Yes, yes, it will. Yes, it will. But it's hard because Lima, it's obviously not the whole. It's very disconnected with the rest. I mean, the left managed some winnings in the rest of the country, but it depends. I mean, to be fair, it's not that I have influence in the party. I really do not. But tomorrow I'm just gonna go there and start seeing what's the panorama there, because I think there are certain things that can be done to help the groups, small groups, and start growing. It's because I think he won because it's just exactly like Trump with the Republican Party, right? It was not a victory of the Republican Party. It was a victory of Trump. So here the party won, but he's invited to the party. It's not really like he was in the party for years. Like I've been in the party since 2004. So I mean, I am a militant of the party, but he's not. So like they have to be careful that he lives, and hope he doesn't. And Barnechea, it was also invited, and he's very committed because he knows that it's his only one chance of being president. But the good thing is, like, this is a traditional conservative party, so and people are turning into this. So of course they can, but this is a party that doesn't have much money, but it actually has certain reach to the whole country. So they need to start in the. I was talking just this with Sarkos like earlier. Like, you have to, if you want to do politics, you cannot just start saying I want to be a president. You have to start small in your area and start growing from there. So if we start growing from the districts, eventually we will say, oh, then this party is actually good, and we can start growing to the rest, right? But so far it's too early. I mean, let's see tomorrow what happened. I mean, I'm gonna try to see what happened the next week. It's gonna be.
I'm not really sure how successful Barnechea is gonna be, because I mean, if I remember, what did I say the name wrong?
No, it's just that I remember why he lost. It's gonna remind us. Do you know why he lost? Do you guys know why the guy lost the elections? It's the most ridiculous, the most Latin American, the most Peruvian thing that ever happened in the history of this country. When a politician goes to certain area, especially some ethnic area, they have to dress like the natives. They have to eat what the natives eat and all of these things, right? So
yes.
It's very populist. I personally do not like it. So I was happy because Barnechea was not doing this. It was like, I am here. I'm probably just gonna wear a poncho and probably just gonna wear this, but that's it. I'm gonna dance with the people. No, I am a serious candidate. People are like, okay, I support this. This is good. So this guy who is a friend of him comes and try to put a sombrero on him, and he say no. But just like that, he said, no. And it was in a good manner. Okay, no one was mad.
Lama.
But the media got mad at this. And by the next town that he went, he was offered chicharrón. Do you know what chicharrón is?
Yeah.
Rings.
Yeah.
I have chicharrón right here.
It's
pork ring.
Yes, it's pork. And he was offered chicharrón. And he said, no, thank you. And he lost. He went, everybody started like, he hates food, he hates people, he's a hateful white straight man. And he lost. He knows everything because he didn't eat the fucking chicharrón.
Hey, Lama. So there's a new poll. There's a new poll. Actually, Jeff will win.
All of Venezuela just went to snuck into Brazil and voted.
Too many money.
Wait a second, guys. I hear something once again, a rumbling that
I chopper.
Yeah.
Oh.
I hate that. I actually know someone who drives around blasting that in their car.
Really?
It's not me, even though I have worn a Soviet naval marine coat, shirt, and I also have a Soviet Union hat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's from the Afghan War, like the Soviet one, not the other one.
No, the crappy Chinese copy.
You know what? You've noticed this, but the first national anthem that we all listened during the World Cup was this.
The Soviet anthem, which is now the Russian anthem. But guys, I gotta be honest. This is. Sorry, Lama. This is the only anthem that I can really listen to. Because I gotta admit, like, every South American anthem is good. Like, they're all like, we're going to get out of slavery. We're gonna like beat up some Spaniards. We're gonna party. There's gonna be some Despacito, and then you go to Canada, and it's just, welcome to Canada. Please respect our rules. Here is a beaver. The beaver is your friend. No, that's a bad anthem. Bad Chile. Okay, no. Okay, 1 second. You guys have done it now.
Okay. No, that's too much.
Who's that anthems?
That's me. I don't know why I have that anthem. I have a friend who was telling me.
A friend of mine says that the best Latin American anthem is the Uruguayan, but I haven't listened to it. So
it's
because you like Forlan, Lama. I know that.
Listen, soon the
Forlan
only anthem of South America is going to be something by Romeo Santos. It has to be soon.
Despacito dos.
Oh God, no! It's going to be, what's that song? It's like, hola, soy Romeo. Es un placer.
Romeo Santos.
As long as the anthem is not a bachata,
oh my God.
Here's the question. Here's the one important question I think that's more important than Bolsonaro winning or whoever in Colombia is winning or anything else. Is Romeo Santos one of the castrati? I think that he is the last of those castrated like choir singers the Catholic Church used to have.
I think the same thing.
Because there's no way a man can be that, manly looking, and then all of a sudden he just goes, hola, I'm Romeo.
Well, Michael
I
Jackson.
like mohair.
Exactly. That's...
Look, he looks like he's gonna, he looks like he's gonna beat you up.
Can get this.
He looks like he's gonna beat you up and score a goal, and then he starts dancing. Okay, guys.
But we're going away. Okay, we are just rambling, and we haven't made fun of Bolivia yet.
Oh yeah!
My
God!
Yeah. Speaking of which,
this is Chile. Like, by the way, I have to say this really quickly. Speaking about Bolivia and Chile, and that, if we look at the world of Dora the Explorer, Chile, Peru is Dora. And Swiper the Fox is Chile, because it's so like, actually no. Dora is South America, because you have all the people coming up, And in Chile, it's just like it's like jumping around everywhere, and they're like, Chile, no up to our territory, no. And then, but Chile just doesn't care, and he just like swipe. This is mine now. All your
Chile,
Tacna, all your Tacna belongs to me.
All right.
But yeah, no, like so.
No,
So
I mean, it's not Chile. I mean, it's not, obviously not
yes,
the
it is.
people. People don't care. But no, I mean, it's the business. Like there is this contest. I remember about I don't remember what it was. It was a contest about food, and they introduced a Peruvian food as a Chilean food. I mean, it was obviously it was not the president. It was whatever was participating there. So people was, I remember, very mad. And by the way, we have a match in the coming days against Chile, and it's in a neutral territories in the United States. So I don't know what's gonna happen there, but I honestly I think Chile is gonna win, and it's gonna be awful.
Probably.
Because people are gonna get very, very mad. But
Okay, my
seriously,
dudes,
now
so
it's time to make fun of Bolivia. Okay,
Oh.
start.
it's time to make fun of these memes. Yes, I don't see nothing. And first of all, this cell phone Bolivia has no nothing. And I have this. The best of Bolivia is the Copa America.
Bravo.
No.
the one attractive Bolivian woman. Wow.
There are a few.
There's
I've
like
seen a
6.
few, but
Okay, Yama, there's 6.
five,
All
maybe
the
five.
good looking ones are Aymaras, and they all went to Peru.
no, I'm not cis, but I mean, Bolivia is a very strange country. I mean, I think the people are okay, but because we bully them so much all the time.
Well, they're like the people that Peru didn't want, because they all wanted to come out and they're like, hey, can we be part of this confederación? And Peru was just like, no, vamos, go to your mountains, go. We have enough of you peoples, go. We keep the llamas though. We keep the llamas. Everyone else go away.
Everything was better when they were called Alto Peru. Seriously.
No, but that implies they were like a higher Peru, like they were a higher plane of Peruvian existence.
No, this girl can be. I found pics. This girl can be Bolivian because there's a sea behind her.
But here's the other thing. I'm actually surprised that Evo Morales has a smartphone. I figured he'd be like one of those old guys with like a flip phone that he can barely use. Because most people over 50 don't know how to use flip phones or don't know how to use smartphones. But
No,
so
let me find the the UNASUR is like the European Union here, right? Let me find it. They it's pretty much the same, and just like the US, they got flooded with a lot of leftist people, and 5 countries, because we are not Europe, say fuck this shit, bye, and they left the UNASUR the same day. So the UNASUR, it's pretty much like, imagine if half the countries of Europe I just say bye to the Europe Union. That's what happened. So in it happened when Bolivia was in charge of the UNASUR, I think. And Evo spent a very considerable amount of money for the UNASUR headquarters. And the building is okay, but I think it cost a little bit too much, and now they have no use for it because there is no institution anymore. So isn't this in the opening, Evo say something like, okay, this is for committees, for important ceremonies, and we also gonna rent it for weddings and graduations. So
En 15 años, no.
yeah, exactly. 15 años for, and the thing like this is first, I really don't even know why, because the building is something you wouldn't imagine a person like Evo making. Like I would probably make something that is more according to the traditions of South America. I'm not saying that you have to build a second Machu Picchu, right? But you could use more local elements to make something that is somehow fitting to our area, right? But it's not. It's just a very modern building in the middle of.
But
anything.
I think he should make
This is
Machu Morales. Instead of Machu Picchu, just be Machu Morales, and it would just be shaped in like a giant coca leaf.
Hey, can I just say that when here in Chile we received this topic of the whole of the Olaya, how do you say here? One part of me was actually happy because it was so funny seeing the Bolivians just going back with the tail between their legs, because Evo has been pressuring Chile all the time, saying no, the ocean was from Bolivia, blah blah blah. First of all, no. A long time ago, very long time ago, when our countries were independent, we bordered with Peru from the north in the Poblado de Atacama, I think it was. That territory was Peruvian, but it was mostly inhabited by Bolivian companies who extracted salitre, or saltpeter, how it's said in English.
Yeah.
That was never Bolivian territory. They were Bolivian citizens, they were Bolivian companies, but they never said this is Bolivian territory. That was Peruvian territory. And personally, I would say this. Look, I don't have a hatred for Bolivians or Peruvians. I mean, I like you, Lama. I still haven't met a Bolivian, so I can say, but I don't hate you. I mean, if I can, I would want to give it a choice. But disintegrating our national territory because of that, I'm sorry, but that's out of the question. I mean, you have Bolivian.
I mean, I get it. I mean, I actually get it. I mean,
they don't use it.
Bolivia was completely out of the raw out of any order doing what they did. I mean, they declare a war thinking they were going to win, and they fuck up all South America. That's what they did. That's exactly what they did. So it's, I mean, I mean, we all use the banter about Chile and Peru, but I mean, we don't actually get that bad in interpersonal, like with the Chileans. So it's just like all the Chileans are this or all the Peruvians are that. But when you talk, face to face with people from there or here, nobody really cares. But the whole deal was, I think that this is the reason why Chile and Peru hate each other at the moment, is because of Bolivia's stupid war. I really don't know why don't we hate it more than we usually.
Well, yes. I mean, it is really, really complicated, and generally most things are Bolivia's fault. It just happens.
All of them are their fault.
Well, it is though. I mean, and Bolivia just keeps losing. Like they're the opposite. They're like reverse Charlie Sheen. I mean, instead of winning, they're just losing because, I mean, you look like they try to fight Chile. They lose their territory. They lose their access to the sea. They try to fight Paraguay. And they lose the Chaco region.
That's the ultimately sign of, maybe war is not your thing. You lost to Paraguay.
And Paraguay never wins. Ever. Except Bolivia. Even Peru has won a war. They beat Ecuador.
No, we have won 3 wars. We have lost 3 wars and we tied 1. As far as I remember.
Is the tie the one that was in the that was against Ecuador too, wasn't it?
It was either Ecuador or Colombia. I can't remember at the moment. But yes, it was.
No. It was Ecuador, and then Peru got one of its jets shot down by Ecuador, and I don't know how that happened. I think
it was like yes, I think it was one that finished very quickly. I think it was that. I don't really remember at the moment, but it was, yes, it was. I mean, we haven't actually done it that bad, okay? But yes, I mean, the point is like Bolivia told that they have Argentina on their side. actually, no, Chile have to give them pretty much all their Patagonia's territories for Argentina to stay away. So Chile actually won territories that were Peruvian and Bolivia, but they lost even more territory after that.
I don't know, man. I mean,
It's kind of strange. I mean, Peru accepted this with the what was it, the Treaty of Friendship, wasn't it? And then Chile was nice and gave them back Arica.
Yeah. No, I think it was an agreement that we have about getting those back, and so yes, I mean, it's a lot of stuff happening there, and the thing is like it is something like I remember there was this guy who wanted to like present a project for a law, for start making a big fuss about the Pacific War. Seriously, because he was like very tired that we have to fight each other over something that was none of our fault. And I supported if this law includes the invasion of Bolivia, and we can have like the half. Chile could have one half, and we have the other half. So I mean, I actually would support that.
Listen. We need to make South America part of the viceroyalty of Peru again.
Again.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
what about Nueva España?
No, we don't need the Spaniards back with their weird lisps and
No voice Spanian here.
Oh yeah. Well, you can have that back, but California gets to stay with America because it's become California.
Yeah.
You don't need any more socialists. You have AMLO.
No,
I mean, can we just nuke the world and so I can live my Fallout fantasy, man? Just for once.
Listen. If you want Fallout, listen. There is Fallout 4. You can go in and actually be in a Fallout style world. It's called going to Caracas. You have to scavenge for spare parts and trade in bottle caps and meats. That's literally it. I mean, and you probably have to make weapons out of piping. So
Cool.
No one has things anymore. So I mean, you get to like break into people's houses and take their house and make it your own like settlement.
Nice.
No, it is though. If you think about it, like Venezuela is like this world's Fallout, except without rad roaches and nukes. It's just
They didn't need to nuke the country. It was already like that.
Well, they did nuke the economy. So I mean, instead of ghouls, you have the PSUV. So because they're all just like for some reason not dead, although they should be.
Yeah.
So, but guys, Quebec.
No, I was just going over something I read about the Bolivia thing in El Comercio.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
3 alternatives for Bolivia to get some way to the sea. So they're talking. The first point they're talking about is Ilos Port in Peru.
Speak a little bit louder.
Sorry?
Oh, see, you have to speak a little bit louder because you sound a little bit low.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't even speaking by that.
Okay, can you hear me now?
No.
No.
You
Can
sound
you
muffled.
turn it a little bit?
Muffled?
He's the Venezuelan special forces. They found him.
How
Okay.
about now?
No, Brett Kavanaugh's got him.
No, well, we're gonna drink some beers.
Well, no, I'd watch out, man. He's got a certain predilection of throwing ice and then hitting people with his genitals. So you might want to watch out.
Can you hear me
No, I think your mic is kind of.
By the way, I'm showing you the UNASUR building.
Oh my
The
god,
one
that's
that is-
vulgar.
There
Burn
is made in Bolivia, in Cochabamba, I think, I don't remember. But this is the monstrosity. There is the headquarters of the UNASUR.
I've got something better.
it's actually very bad. I'm not a fan of it. I mean, it could be much better, definitely.
Now, I'm going to show you the worst building that ever was created. And it's got the worst name. It's called The Rooms. It's literally, that's the name of the building. It's called The Rooms, and in the middle of historic St. John's, a 500-year-old city, we decided to build this thing. Once I get a good picture of it, where it's to, because okay, I'm gonna get you guys screen share. I'm an old man. I have to figure out how to do this again. There. Can you guys see this?
I watched something very briefly. They just flash and glance.
Okay. Why does this? Okay, now. Now can you see it?
I see something black.
Okay, this is not good. Okay,
Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hear you better.
I'm gonna try this one more time.
Can you, Ernest, OC, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's better.
Share the picture in the chat. Maybe we can share it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that's a better idea. Because I am an old boomer and know not what I do.
Okay, well, going back to this, the port of Hilo was one of the alternatives for Bolivia, but
Yeah.
I think I mentioned this before we start to stream. It's more expensive than using the present alternative of Arica, which the 80% of the merchandises and movement there is from Bolivian Bolivian stuff. The second alternative could be the port of Bush in the border with Paraguay, which is in the Paraguay River that goes to that ends in the Pacific Ocean, and apparently is really navigable.
What is that?
The Port Bush.
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
that is The Rooms.
The house with lots of windows.
Glass. So this is literally known. This is the name of it. This is called The Rooms. That's the name of the building.
Looks like a house with a cell phone.
Next to it is a Catholic private school, which is like 120 years old. It's in the historic district. I think that where The Rooms was used to be a fortress, and we tore it down to build that museum of. It's a museum, but it's an ugly museum, and whoever created it should be hit with a stick. Respectfully, I've offended enough people on Twitter lately. I don't need to get accused of promoting violence, but their career should be hit with a stick. But because let me see, the building was actually built on Fort Townsend, which is an 18th century military fort, and it was a star-shaped citadel. And it was actually one of the largest ones in North America. And we built this thing. So we went from essentially the same thing as Rio Felipe to weird shed-looking thing. So good on us. But anyway, sorry about that, guys. I just thought we should all see, Bolivia has its ugly ass building, and so do we. So
yeah,
our cultures are similar.
Just like a little side note.
We're talking something about Bolivia and about their options, because we love Bolivia, please.
Yeah, and last option would be using the agreements that they have with Argentina, Brazil, and Uruguay to use their ports. So basically, you could say that Bolivia actually sabotaged their own case because they have no- all the opportunities to use everyone else's ports to move merchandises, and still
And you
they're
know
not.
what? They don't even need that. They have the Titicaca. No,
Yes.
I'm not
Oh,
kidding. I'm not kidding. The Titicaca is not like a small little lake. It's very big lake. I mean, people actually live in islands inside the lake. So it's it's a sea in there. So there's a lot of tourism in the of that area, and they can actually make something very very big. I remember there is a hotel in the Udo Islands, where they live there, and people go there to actually stay living like the people live because it's kind of like cool to live in a floating hotel, right? So they can actually do something very good with it. They could invest there, and they don't do it because I mean, there are a lot of countries that don't have don't go to the sea. And I mean, what countries are there? Is Paraguay, there is Serbia, I think. Well,
Yeah,
Romania, I think.
no,
Romania,
Romania has an exit to the Black Sea.
but not to the to the actually the ocean. They don't have it. So I mean, it's like they really. If I were Bolivia, I say something like, "Fuck it, we have the Titicaca Lake. This is the lake where the Inca Empire, history say started with Manco Capac. Was born in this lake and start the Inca Empire and whatever. So I use that to my favor. But no, he still wants the sea for no reason that I think is his own pride. That's the only reason.
well, I didn't. Isn't Lake Titicaca also where the Incan general goes? It Quizquiz or Quiz? I can't say that name right. It was a Incan general, and when the Spanish won at Cajamarca, he took all his gold. He took all the gold and threw it in Lake Titicaca.
No, it was no. I think it's another story. No, I
Golden
mean this is
Titicaca.
the birthplace of Manco Capac, the first Inca. He allegedly he came from the lake, so you can use that. He won't use it. I mean, it's there is a lot that he can do about it, but it's. I mean, I don't remember. I don't know how before Evo was because he's pretty much been president all my life, I think. So I don't remember how I was before. I don't know how much people insist on this, but I seriously give up. I don't think it's anything shameful on giving up on this one. I mean, you
Uh,
cannot just always win everything.
the best part, though, guys, about the whole sad Bolivian saga is that Bolivia still has a navy.
Yeah, they train in Peru.
And
They have
I know,
Marines.
I know, but every year during their parade, they get people to LARP as people who have actually seen what water looks like outside of a lake. Like they actually get to see they get to pretend that they're like a real country, a real navy, and not like a meme. So they get all their guys together and they literally just sit on inflatable boats with snorkels and look tough. And I think that the snorkel goggles hide their tears because even they know that they're a joke. Because it's kind of hard to have a navy when you don't have any ships that are bigger than a dinghy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean,
I
who
mean,
are
yeah.
they going to attack? The only one they can attack is like Peru, and that's
No,
the one that's
well,
up for
no. They'll go after Paraguay again because they'll make Chaco Bolivian again. And no, listen, like the Chaco War was awesome, okay? Because Bolivia had tanks and modern weapons,
And
and they got
planes.
beat up by Paraguay.
They were just a bunch of natives with assault rifles. That's all they
It
were.
was just Guaranis, and it was like all
The
like all of the-
Paraguays are actually kind of tough. Okay, the Guaranis
No,
are
they're
very
tough.
tough people. They're very tough. Like this guy who was the goalkeeper. What's his name?
Chilabert.
Chilaver. Chilaver is like a beast. So come on, these people are actually very, very tough. But
No, listen. The
seriously,
only
I mean,
beast I recognize is Pedro Garis. Okay, he is.
I mean, look at this. I mean, look at this. This is the Titicaca. Okay, and I know it has a very funny name, but the place is beautiful.
I know it is really
Very,
beautiful. But I mean, when I was a kid and people said Titicaca, we all used to giggle. But guys, there's one other interesting thing because we're kind of running away with topics. I mean, and as fun as it is to to insult Bolivia because it's just so easy.
Yeah.
You mean they're like the soft-headed child of South America? Because you see Evo jumping up and down. He's like, guys, I want to go to the sea. I want to. Necesito veo la mar. Necesito veo la mar. No, Evo. Go to the corner. No. But la mar is mío. No, Evo. No. Go. Here's your coca. Go home. Here's your coca.
When you make your presidential ban? I don't know.
I actually live in an avenue called La Mar, so he's invited to come here whenever he wants.
You really want to bring you want to bring like some weird like short stubby Chavista to your house, really?
Not my house, but the avenue. Just walk around.
Like,
okay, we also have to talk about anti-meme laws.
Yes, Eduardo, take it away, my brother.
AMLO's friend's wedding. What the fuck was with the wedding? Yeah, please, I want to know because I read something, but I was really paying attention. Please tell us.
Which one do you want me to talk about first?
The wedding. Has to be the wedding.
The wedding. Okay. Well, so last week, it was the wedding of one of AMLO's. It was the wedding of AMLO's right hand, Cesar Yañez. He's the coordinator, the general coordinator of politics and government for the Presidents of the Republic. So this guy marries another girl that was in the AMLO's campaign too. And as you may know, they were talking a lot about, austerity and being humble and not lavish expendings and everything like that. Did you have the opportunity to hear about that, right?
Yeah, I've heard of AMLO's bullshit. Yeah.
Well, so this wedding was like a really big party and an expensive party. If you want me to read some of the details for you.
Hey, please go ahead. I'm sending a picture to your messages because I can't send it on my phone. And Dulce Silva looks like I don't know. She one, the age gap is terrifying, and two, she looks like she's both horrified and constipated at the same time.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah,
too much of a sugar daddy for her.
Sugar daddy. That's like a churro daddy.
Hey, can I just mention that I'm seeing people on Twitter and everywhere in the internet just trying to explain how Bolsonaro won, and one of the greatest takes I've seen is that Bolsonaro achieved the amount of votes he got because the left failed to create a united front against him, and personally, I think that's the main problem.
Yes, totally.
Because you can have any excuse, but the fact is this: the left in Latin America is divided. In my country, in Chile, it is happening.
Here too. Here is exactly the same thing.
Yes.
Oh, I love that game.
That is the sound of Bolsonaro winning. That's literally That's literally it. And
No, I mean they actually are because, for example, at this moment, the left here in the city probably make about 10%, right?
Mm-hmm.
But all the groups combined of the left make the number. There are like three different leftist groups. I remember there was one time when the left was actually good here because they create a party called United Left. It was actually made by a lot of stupid people, but also smart people with actually real leftists who talk about real change without going full Mao. So they don't want to do that anymore. Now, let me see if I found the results here
but
with
guys,
the all of
we
the candidates.
we should let Eduardo finish about
Yeah, please, because the whole thing with the wedding is like hilarious.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
this is enraging. The details. So let me go ahead. Okay, the wedding was in the convention center William O. Jenkins, one of the most exclusive locations in Puebla City. And well, the dance floor was painted by hand. Imagine that. Just imagine that. Okay,
wow.
next. The the photographic session of the couple was in the Rosewood Hotel, one of the most expensive of Puebla. Like you have to pay like $250 for a single night there. Just just imagine that.
Oh
Okay.
wow.
The bride was the makeup of the bride was made by the same guy that does the makeup for the first lady, Peña Nieto's wife, and also and the dress too. So she was being the left criticizes the first lady for her, expensive attires and for her expensive apparel, and now they are doing the same thing. The wife of the right hand of AMLO is doing the same thing by the same people that dresses and does the makeup for the first lady. But check the menu for the for
Filet
okay.
mignon,
Mm,
lobster,
yep. A lobster twice.
lobster tails, and what? They had Los Angeles Azules?
Yeah.
Ah, su madre.
I hate
No.
Los Angeles Azules. Now I hate them more.
Yeah, well, I only like them because they have a similar name to my favorite Mexican football team, Cruz Azul. But that's where the enjoyment ends. But by the way, I have to say this: Alianza Lima siempre. So
Yoo-hoo!
yay. But no. Didn't AMLO used to call people like fifis
Yeah.
and and mock the rich?
He said he despises the rich and their lavish costumes. Well, um, their lavish ways. But I mean, this is the exact same thing. Okay, there's this, and of course they have a big tornaboda. I don't know. A tornaboda here is like an after party, but
Yep.
with real food, not food that you could photograph and put in a catalog. No. This is like real Mexican food. Chilaquiles, tamales, uh, flautas de camarón, chalupas, among other things. So they have a really lavish wedding, and don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against anyone having the wedding they want, but these people is saying no, we're doing this for the poor. We're getting the poor out, the people out. We are getting people out of poverty. Don't And then they are doing the exact same thing that they were criticizing. Come on, it's infuriating. These people say, trying to preach and to but asking us to not follow their ways. I remember in this other book, I already recommended here as my pick of the week. Wait a second, what's that sound?
Llama.
Wait a minute, sorry.
It's
Wait
the
a minute.
helicopter. It's the helicopters coming. Chile's
No,
invading.
wait a minute. Give me a minute. Be right back. Wait a minute, sorry.
Sí, mami. Oh, sí, cabecita.
Oh shit!
Ozzy, listen, man. Weed isn't legal in Canada for another couple of days. Calm down, man. No need to start practicing.
Oh, okay. Hey, you know, I found a song that it could work for the podcast. I think you will like it.
We're gonna get struck down on copyrights like so hard. No. This podcast is over. Detonate.
So, okay. So these people is the ultimate hypocritical act these people is doing. So I don't know. They are already people, journalists already questioned AMLO about this wedding, and well, he said, "Don't look at me. I didn't. It wasn't my wedding." But he was there, and it's. I think his presence there is like an implicit recognition of the occasion and the way it was being developed.
Well, I just find it hilarious because it's the way socialists always are. Because you have to remember, and I'm gonna say this in Spanish, then I'll say it in English, I guess. El socialismo es para el pueblo, no para el socialistas. Mm-hmm. Socialism is for the people, not the socialists. I mean,
totally.
I mean, I should have said gentes, pero yeah, no sé. But and that's the way it is, though. You look at everybody. You say like Nicolas Maduro, we are fighting against the imperialists. We're going to strike them down. Give me that steak and Cuban cigars, please. And please, sexy Turkish man, put some spice on my steak.
Okay, guys, sorry, but I was talking with people, and so I'm back. Sorry about that.
No, it's no problem. You see, I had to say sexy Turkish man, and back comes Yama.
What?
So,
at the end of the, I don't know if you know, at the end of the Ethiopian communist regime, some people inside the regime started criticizing Mengistu Haile Mariam, the president back then, because he became what he criticized from the monarchy.
He was the emperor. He was the king of kings.
Yeah, and and Haile Mariam wanted to be that new emperor, but then he I think he forgot he was bringing communism to Ethiopia and the Red Famine and everything else. I mean, I haven't seen a single communist socialist that actually practice what they preach.
None of them do, though. I mean, it's always been like that. Oh, that. By the way, earlier this was an early question. I'm loving the Knowledge Crew project right now, though, guys. They keep asking really, really good questions. So shout out to the Knowledge Crew project. Do you think that AMLO's government could have an influence in upcoming elections in Latin America?
Doubt it.
I'm really going to I'm going to have to agree with everyone else here that they're not, because AMLO, I mean, basically, you look at the geography and Mexico has never been a regional influencer, like in terms of like outside of Central America.
It used to be.
It used to be, but now it's not. I mean,
I think Bolsonaro's election will have a greater effect in Latin America than AMLO. I doubt AMLO has a heavy weight.
I wonder if now someone else asked me like off in a chat. Do you think Bolsonaro will signal a return to the Brazilian monarchy? No. No. Dom Pedro is not coming back.
I wish.
He's going to bring Portugal. He's going to make Brazil Portugal again.
No. It's going to be good because instead of having the helicopter rides, you're going to have Dom Pedro's plantation extravaganzas. So instead of going up the helicopter, the commies just go to the plantations and make the rubber.
I mean, you know what's something funny about Brazil is that the rest of South America see Brazil, and I've always see them more open-minded and liberal than the rest of us. I don't know if you also have seen that, but I mean, come on, the guys have like this carnival, the Rio Carnival that is pretty much all of them dancing half naked for days. There are people walk practically.
It's Brazil in general. That's always Brazil.
Yeah, I mean, people practically is naked, on the beach with these fucking thungas, like walking like they really do not care, and they're always being like a place where homosexuals and transsexuals and drag queens just walk around and people don't care about.
I actually saw a girl tweeting that she's seriously considering of calling the UK consulate to actually look for queer people to ask for the status of refugees if Bolsonaro wins.
Go to Peru. They'll fit in fine in Plaza San Martin.
Nothing is going to happen to them because okay, fine. He doesn't like them. He's not gonna kill them for God's sake. It's going to be
maybe not.
I'm very sure that who actually will dislike more of these people than Bolsonaro? The Amazonians.
Yeah,
I can assure you that if some transvestite shows up in the Amazonians and say something like, "Hey guys, we're gonna talk about my problems," they're going to go and fucking shoot them on the face with an arrow because probably like, what the fuck is this?
Or Yama, it's either them or a Canadian. If a Canadian goes there, and then they'll kill him too because I don't know why the Amazonas in Peru really don't like Canadians. They just lynched one. Like,
what did you do to them?
They
had some ayahuasca. Yeah, well, apparently he was on drugs. He went there like as every white person goes to the Amazon, not for the beauty and the nature, but to get high on whatever is that the ayahuasca stuff?
Yeah, I would say ayahuasca. That thing is very dangerous. Okay, so people watching this, I recommend you to not get high on that thing because
just chew coca leaves like every other Peruvian.
Yeah, actually, coke is healthier. No, I mean the whole ayahuasca thing is like it's like a ritual about it to know the whole. I mean it's very complicated and it's not like it can get you killed, but it's probably because most of these white people have never tried anything similar, so it can poison you and you die. So it has to be very carefully crafted to drink it. Okay, so just any random person say, "Oh, I can do it," actually offers you, say no. Seriously, say no because you're actually gonna die. I'm kidding. Or drugs are very dangerous. There is I was showing a friend that there is a tree here that grows widely all over the city, and it has these little flowers that are very toxic, very very hallucinogenic. So you just can actually take the flower and make a tea with it, and you are going to see goblins dancing around. That bad. But no one actually does it because precisely it's very strong and you don't know what actually can happen to you.
But if those people who the trans community, if they get driven out by Bolsonaro, and I doubt they will. But they can. There is a but Yama, there's a place they can go in Peru that'll make it so much better, and it's the one refuge that they all go to, them and the commies, and that is
Or
of
send it
course.
to me.
No. It's Plaza San Martin.
Oh,
You have to go there. And for any interested people, if you want to see the real Lima, go to Plaza San Martin after 8 o'clock at night. I promise. It's
let me guess. You went there. You were hoping to find gold, and you find more than that.
Well, no, I found
You have more.
well, half the plaza did, and they were also wearing skinny jeans. But no, I went, and there was commies, and trans people, and both at the same time. So it was.
Yeah, most people don't really care. I mean, I personally do not care about gay people or transgender. I mean, I care about the rights, but it's not like I care about like if someone sits next to me, I don't care. Like most people don't care. I'm very sure most people will be, like feel bad if do something like walk away, so they wouldn't do it. So
no, like I don't really mind. I don't really mind what they do.
Nobody minds.
They approached
Nobody
you
minds.
and said, "Hey, papi, you want to have a good day?"
I know, yeah, no, that actually has happened. And I just said no, thank you. I'm just here to enjoy the sights of the beautiful Plaza San Martin.
Oh, but you want to see my Machu Picchu?
Machu Picchu.
No, it's more like you want to see. Oh my god, no. Like no, I did see an American get beaten up and robbed by one of them though. That was
like when somebody say like it's not the same thing like Machu Picchu, then watch the Picchu of the Machu.
That one.
But seriously, I mean, I'm very sure that Bolsonaro just talk like this, but he's not. He probably don't like gay people, but he's not going to kill them all. I mean, it wasn't like the same with Trump. Like Pence was going to kill all the gays.
He was going to electrocute them. Unlimited power.
Well, yeah, it was like Mike Piccolo Pence or something like that. So I mean, he was Storm. He was like male Storm. He was gonna like summon the electricity and
those are the Brazilian inside group and going for the trans people in Brazil.
Oh my. No, but like, but no, like. By the way, though, actually another right-wing party has won in Canada, and that is the Coalition for Quebec's Future. They've actually broken essentially like 50 years of conservative and liberal, or what was it? Liberal and Parti Québécois power. Well, like they're not. They are secessionists, like the fellow, well, they're more. Yeah, they're kind of like weird Catalonians. And heads up, I'm in all seriousness because half of this podcast I've been making terrible jokes because I'm not a comedian. I'm just a newfie, which is a joke in itself. Just because I love my place. I'm just kidding. I love my province. But no, Newfoundlanders hate Quebec. It's like Bolivia and Paraguay and Bolivia and Chile and Bolivia.
Who's who?
Guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
Guys.
Yes.
Bolsonaro won in Israel.
In Israel?
Whoa! He's gonna make Palestine great again.
No, he just had 60% of votes in Tel Aviv.
Oh,
really? Tel Aviv?
Wow.
Because Brazilians vote outside the country, right? Like they can vote everywhere. So the elections in Israel, he got 60% of votes in.
We had
so he had the Jewish vote.
With the last election, actually, we had our government actually authorized Chileans in other countries of the world to vote in our elections. Now, I'm not a fan of that idea because, first of all, I think the idea is that people who vote are people who are going to be affected by the politics or by anything that the candidate they want to do. And for, I don't know, Chilean living in Spain or Sweden, how the victory of some candidate is going to affect him in the long run. And can I just say that I've seen a very curious and eerie pattern on leftists, that many of them seem to be anti-Semites. No, not all of them, but I've seen a lot of them who are anti-Semites.
Yeah.
Or that hold anti-Semitic values.
This one go for my pick of the week.
Mm-hmm.
It's called 7 Days in Entebbe. No, Rescue in Entebbe.
Okay.
Okay. The movie, it's about when some pro-Palestinian terrorists capture a plane bound for Tel Aviv and took it to Entebbe in Uganda, because that's the way, my brother.
You know the way.
And well,
that is not a racist meme.
Two of the main characters were two far left extremists from Germany, and well, they had some, well, like every other guy around them questioned them. The terrorist, his Latin American friend, and are like, because they say that they were complaining that Israel became what they were fighting, and Israel was doing what they were doing to what was done to them in the Holocaust. But everybody, well, like everybody around them didn't understood why they did that. Like, why are you even here? You have a good life in Germany. Why dying for a cause that is not yours? And at the end, well, the Israelis rescue their prisoners. The brother of the incumbent prime minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, died in that raid. Was the only Israel casualty. And well, I really recommend that movie.
No, that is a good movie.
I should watch it.
Let me.
But I just want to quickly get back to Quebec, because Francois Legault is.
Yes. We need to also, make fun of Canada as well.
Well, no,
Yeah.
he's actually got Trudeau scared, because before Legault, the Liberal Party was in charge under I don't know his first name, but it was Premier Couillard was his name. And Couillard was like the big liberal guy who I think he was a socialist before, or a conservative, and then he became a liberal. But it was weird. I don't really follow Quebec politics because they just really hate us, because we Chile'd them. No, we did Chile them in 1924. There was a dispute over Labrador, in like our land-based portion of Canada, since we are mostly an island, but we also have Labrador, which is like our cold little brother up north. And I love you, Labrador, by the way. I'm obligated to say that as an islander, or else they start talking about secession, which is the thing. There actually is a secessionist movement in Labrador. I don't know why, because it's like 6 people and
Labrador secessionist state.
It's 6 people and an iron ore mine. So it's a fun story. But no, all jokes aside, by the way, just for clarification, in case any SJWs are watching this, most of the offensive things I've said tonight are jokes. I don't want to get dankulated. So, but no. The thing is that in 1924, the Privy Council of Great Britain gave a ruling that said a certain amount of Labrador of the territory was awarded to Newfoundland. Quebec has never gotten over this, and no joke, every election they have, like every provincial election, they have the pre-1924 map of that area, and they constantly use it. Like they're like, well, no, this is what Quebec looks like, and it's like this big chunk of Labrador gone. And we're just like, and every time we go to elections, Quebec, and we're like, guys, your map is wrong. They just literally go, no, monsieur, no, you are incorrect.
No.
There is no Newfoundland. There is no Labrador. It is only Quebec Rador. You must accept this. And
guys,
but yeah,
guys.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as Fiat, 99% of the tables have been accounted for, and the second round will be in Brazil elections. Will be in, for one side we have former paratrooper and apologies of the military dictatorship, Jair Bolsonaro, and and the other side, let's see, Lula's favorite pet, Fernando Haddad.
no, it's Fernando the Shill Haddad.
Fernando Lula is a fucking thief. Haddad, no. But
No,
okay, so
I'm just listening to the helicopters. So you hear like.
yes, I hear them. Okay, so
He's copying-
so
he's
Bolsonaro
copying.
is like the biggest victor with 46.2% of the votes. That like
That was very
40
close. That was very close to actually winning.
Yeah, it was like
Seriously.
49 million people. And in the other hand, we have Fernando Haddad with 29.1%. Now,
He's not gonna make it. He's absolutely not gonna make
you,
it.
the,
I'm
the
very
problem
sure
is that you have to consider what will happen to the votes that every other candidate has received, because any candidate might, for example, I've been listening to guys saying that even if the leftist candidates give their votes to Fernando Haddad, he probably won't be Bolsonaro. But personally, I think that if the left in Brazil wants to at least, I don't know, they have a chance to win, because I thought that Bolsonaro was going to be like toe to toe with anyone who was going to be against him, not like 20-point difference. But I think that the only thing that the Brazilian left has left, pun intended, is, well, basically they just have to come together and say, okay, let's forget our difference for once. We have to stop this guy.
Never gonna
Yes.
happen.
No,
Never gonna happen.
because even if
That's
you form a Frente Amplio,
Oh,
the
fuck Frente Amplio.
yes, I agree with you. Fuck Frente Amplio, because
Oh,
I hate them everywhere. Okay, like they're the same shit
The Frente
everywhere.
Amplio has mean nothing more than a bunch of corrupt politicians. Now, most of them were socialists.
In
Okay.
Peru, it's all boomers and Veronica Mendoza. That's all it is. And she no wait, Lama, Veronica Mendoza's not Frente Amplio no more. She's Nuevo Peru, right? I think.
Frente Amplio.
Honestly, at this point, I don't even know which party is she in, because the left has just divided in so many different fractions. Like my neighbor was running for a political party that was leftist, and I was sure he was the part of Veronica. Now I just found out that he's not. He's a different one. It's like the Starbucks left. I have the problem with that one, so to be honest. So there is also the communist left, and there's somehow revolutionary left, and then there is like the far left. So I have no idea how many lefts there are. So if they actually go together, they can actually make a good number. So
Yeah, but
I
that won't
think-
happen because they're all power hungry for themselves, and they want to feed. They want to put
Yes, they're
food in the
becoming
trough.
worse than the right. It's awful.
Well,
I
the right
mean-
is rather united in Peru. I mean, because I hate to say this, and it is dominated by the Fujimoristas in Fuerza Popular. It could have been changed if Kenji Fujimori wasn't an
they already
idiot.
changed. They're already rejecting the Fujimoris like massively.
Well,
Let's
now they're
hear
going
it.
to the next election. Like, I'm sorry to cut you off, Yama. But
Don't worry.
I think that the next election, you're going to probably see the decline of the Fujimoristas, and it's not
Yeah.
because of policy or because of anything else. Well, no, it is policy because, what was it? Who's the president of the Congress now? It's Bella Lund, isn't it? Beaunde.
I don't know.
It's
Wait a
he's
minute.
uncle of one of the former presidents, or nephew of Beaunde Terry.
It was
Daniel.
not Galarreta.
No,
wait,
it's not.
wait.
It's not Captain Hook. No. I remember.
I don't remember his name.
I remember when Galarreta was president of Congress, and they had a paper. I think it was El Comercio that said it's in his. It said it's in his hands now.
Salaverry.
Salaverry,
it's
yeah.
Salaverry.
Is it Daniel Salaverry?
Yes, Daniel Salaverry.
He
To be
came
fair, I
out.
really don't know much of this guy.
He's just an idiot because he literally said that Peru doesn't need any political changes because until after 2020. He said it's not necessary because we're already doing judicial changes. But I mean, it's the last chance for the Fujimoristas to keep power, because if they go back to pre 1992 constitution, they're done. Because if you have a split Congress, there's a like a 2-tier house, like a Congress and a Senate, they're in trouble. The Fujimoristas will get the shit
They have
kicked out of them.
lost. They completely lost here. I mean, in this election, they have like 4%. They have 4%. Nobody wants them anymore. They lost. So I think this is just a natural thing that they're dying. And it's funny because all the left has here is being anti-Fujimori. So if Fujimori does not exist, then the left has no reason to keep existing.
Fujimori lives in the minds, hearts, and VHSs of many Peruvians, especially Vladimiro.
Because,
I want to go to the hospital where he is and try to report as much as I can. But
can you interview him? No, don't kill El Chino. I need him for memes. Okay, I need him for memes.
You know, Lama, if you kill him and you need a political asylum, you can come here every day you want.
No, I don't want to kill him. The guy is like 80 already. He's gonna die. He could die tomorrow, to be fair.
No, his burning hatred of communism keeps him alive. That's it. And his hatred of Keiko.
And his hatred of his wife.
Fujimori was actually friends with Chavez, so he doesn't really care.
No. Chavez was friends with Juan Velasquez. Well, Juan Velasquez inspired Chavez. But also, wasn't it recently the 50th anniversary?
Yes, it was the 50th anniversary, the day that Fujimori came back to jail, which is hilariously ironic.
But I've really, there's a documentary coming out about Juan Velasquez, and I really want to watch it. And also, if you ever find his little red book, like the stuff of all like Juan Velasquez's sayings, I will pay you like so many of your souls for it. Like I'm gonna show you. I've actually got my Juan Velasquez preparation money. I'm gonna turn on my camera for 1 second, and don't start drooling because this will buy a lot of Lomos Estado.
That guy is. I mean, it was one of those cases when we have a dictatorship by the left here. Oh my God,
I'm gonna buy a lot of Lomos Estado muy pronto.
Yeah, that's 50. That's much what I have now in my wallet.
Listen, this gets me from what's it called? This gets me from Jorge Chavez to Central Lima. Okay, I like this. I always carry this with me. But somebody is. Let me see. Do you think Keiko and Kenji Fujimori run for president on different platforms in 2021? Kenji's probably going to jail very, very soon because he tried to help bribe people for Pedro Pablo Kuczynski. So he's done as a candidate. Any chance of Kenji being like the Los Avengers, which was hilarious, because he got Montesino'd, which was glorious to behold. No,
They
he doesn't.
destroy each other. The
Oh,
guy who's asking the Knowledge Crew project, they have destroyed each other, the Fujimori brothers, siblings. They just honestly, the thing is, like, Kenji really loves his father, and I cannot blame him for that, because if my father was a delinquent, I would also love him. To be honest. So I can understand that he loves his father, and he did what he did to get him free. It was wrong, so he deserved jail for doing it. But the thing, like, Keiko was always, present herself like the one loving daughter who was doing everything because of his father, or her father. But later, it's kind of obvious, like, she wants to be president, so she needs him to be in jail because he gave her victim points. And Kenji working to get him free make him the favorite kid. So that goes against what she wanted. So she destroyed him. She bait him into some trap, and he fell completely for it. And I mean, everybody's realized that they hate each other, that they won't, they're gonna fight each other all the time, that they have no real interest in anything, but they have daddy issues. So, so it's now it's over. It's over for both of them. I mean,
by
the
the way, I
Fujimori
think I've
party can
realized one
survive, but
thing.
not with any of the Fujimoris. It's dumb. I'm happy. It's very dumb.
Well, if it is, it'll be in Galtiera's capable hand shit.
No,
That was
it's no. I mean, they are the party. I mean, people was like the last time, the last election, the party that died was APRA, and now it's Fujimori.
APRA
So
should
the
never
one.
be. Listen, no, Yama. APRA came up with Alan Garcia, and by that default, they should never be allowed to run a candidate again, because
I
as
actually
much
voted
as I'm
for him.
no, you voted for the man who ruined the Inti.
I'm sorry. I was very young.
So,
Yes, I bought because it was young. But
oh.
I
You
it
should
was
have voted
the
for
only
Mario
thing
Vargas
that
Llosa.
no, I was 8 years old when it happened. But
It's
I
Peru.
voted
You
for
can
him.
you can legally vote. Come on.
I mean, no, I voted for him because I was, still very young, and I thought, okay, what's the worst that could happen? And it was a massacre. What happened? So,
He was listen. Alan Garcia is the Homer Simpson of South American politics.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
just
true. It's like
he's just as fat and incompetent. And now
he brings us this 5,000% of inflation in the country in the 80s.
he was like proto Maduro. He was
Well, he was not really socialist or leftist, but the party was a little bit leftist, but he wasn't.
Well,
He was actually
APRA's
like
weird. It's kind of
but
like
then
APRA.
60s, I mean,
APRA's like PRI is like it's the kind of the same concept, because it's
yeah,
APRA is essentially
pretty
like
much.
Peruvian PRI, except much more incompetent and a little more stealing.
I mean, all parties have died. I mean, it's Fujimori died, APRA died, PPC, the PPC, the Popular Party, Christian Party died. The left is dead. Whatever traditional country,
all that's
Solidaridad,
left is Jeb.
they all died. The only party that is surviving is mine. Like, seriously, and we are just barely like surviving. So we have to play very well our cards. And so I mean, I was talking with friends, like, I could even run for mayor by the next one, honestly. Like, I actually consider it because we are growing back. So
If
I don't
you
know,
run
but
for
so
mayor,
far.
I will go there and personally run your campaign.
But I will go there and be your poster child.
Okay. Guys, good question from Knowledge Crew Project again. Do you think Martín Vizcarra is el mejor presidente de PPK? Yes, 100% better.
He's better in the sense that he's not a moron, but it was too much of progressive.
But Vizcarra's a bit
So-
cocky because he doesn't really fight the Fujimoristas. Like, he's the one who brought up the change from the unicameral to the bicameral system. You know, he like Vizcarra's like, we need to change the makeup of Congress. And Salaverry was just like, no, and Martin was just, okay, gracias for trying, goodbye.
Okay.
I'm good. He looks like Milhouse. He's like Peruvian Milhouse.
No, I mean the guy definitely cares about people because the guy was a good regional president when he was living. He was from Moquegua. That's, I don't know if Austin knows where Moquegua is. It's pretty much the border with Chile, and it was a
Moquegua.
very, very poor region. You know how you have Tacna, and after Tacna is Moquegua, and it's a very poor region. And he actually played very well his cards with what we had back then and make Moquegua a really growing region. So he actually worked well. So it's the credits where it's due, right?
but will he run
he
again?
also went to Canada. Sorry?
Oh no, yeah. Don't. Listen, I love the fact that he went to Canada. I hate the fact that he actually met Trudeau, because that ruins our relationship. He should have just met me, and then I would have been been his Montesinos.
I think the guy actually, I think he was shot with progressiveness because he come back talking about feminists and all this shit.
But yeah, like
So,
Peruvian feminism is not that big. It's not a big, huge issue in Peru from what I've seen. Everyone is more pissed off about corruption than pronouns and
yeah,
and
so-
gender
that
neutral
actually-
bathrooms.
Yeah, I mean, because we really have real problems. I mean, we have like Bolivia. I think Bolivia, Ecuador, Colombia, Brazil, have more indigenous communities than the regions. I mean, you don't have a lot of Mapuches running around Chile, right, or Argentina. So because of that, we really have very issue. People actually say, look, there are people in the Andes dying because it's cold. I mean, who cares about pronouns?
Yeah, but I mean, but right quick, he said it earlier. He asked me about Andrew Scheer, who is the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada.
Be right back, guys. Okay, I'm just gonna be. My mom's calling me. Be right back.
Okay.
But yeah, the thing
Okay,
about
can I just say that I hate llama? No.
no,
No.
you can't.
No.
You're not allowed to hate our spiritual, our Dalai Lama.
No, I love our cafecita.
She is our Dalai Lama. She is our spiritual leader.
Dalai
Our conservatism flows from her. But no, the thing about Andrew Scheer is that he doesn't have any real firm policies. He just generally toes like this weird Stephen Harper-ish. He's like Stephen Harper light. And Stephen Harper was a crappy prime minister. I've said sometimes that I've missed him, but then when I look back at it, I really don't miss the surveillance and the weird culture he created here. So and plus I heard he's a really weird person to know. I actually know people who have met Stephen Harper and have spent time with him, and he's just odd. But anyway, no, the thing about Andrew Scheer is that he's very indecisive, and he's trying to create something similar to the Liberals, like a big tent, everyone's welcome, we respect all ideas kind of party. And for a while, it kind of worked because it was just coming with people who were still really liberal, but didn't like Trudeau because of his, dynastic implications, because his dad was prime minister back in the day and things like that. So then Maxime Bernier came along and had that large tweet about cultural appropriation and immigration and things like that. And if Andrew Scheer had stuck by Bernier, he probably would have been able to salvage some points, like some good boy points, but he did not. He kind of dismissed him, and it comes down to really the Conservative Party and the Liberal Party of Canada are relatively corrupt. They're not like Latin American style, like taking bribes, but the lobby groups like the Dairy Farmers Association of Canada, the mining interest in that, they donate a lot of money to political parties. So, long story short, the parties here know who butters their bread. And so Bernier's party comes out and he's just like, listen, I am going to completely change the way we do business. I'm still going to be very moderate. Like, Bernier's not that hardcore. Everyone points him out to be a fascist or some kind of weird racist. And all he's ever done was leave top secret documents at his girlfriend's house while he was Minister of Defense. Yeah, he did. He actually did. I don't mind Maxime Bernier. I think he's all right. I'm actually involved with his party to an extent. I'm nothing official. I've just joined up on the federal level, because you can join in Canada. You can join a federal party and a provincial party. It's not just one. So I'm just interested to see how it goes. And I mean, it could be a chance to revive conservatism in Canada, because it has gone to the left. Because the Conservative Party of Canada is essentially slightly center left. They don't rock the boat, and Bernier he's just like, essentially he's just gonna go in and just be like, I don't really care. I just don't care. This is the way we have to fix things, and Canada's starting to suck. So I shall fix this, because he's French. But long story short, yeah. So Scheer, the only thing what Scheer needs to do is grow some guts. And actually, he's going to have to work with Bernier. They're going to have to set up some kind of power sharing agreement, because Bernier's party, it's not even official yet, but he's got 18% of the vote.
Wow.
Which is a lot. If we had proportional representation, a good part of that party would hold sway in Parliament. But Canada doesn't have proportional representation, and probably never will. That's a topic for another day, and I think we could talk about that. So we'll have to add that to the ever-growing list of stuff we'll eventually do at like episode 290.
Yeah, but I think we're going through a great how I say this. I think we're doing great.
Yay! As the Peruvians say, yay. That's how Peruvians say yay. They say jay.
Yeah, boy.
Chileans aren't allowed to speak now. This is Peru time.
Fuck you.
You owe us for Arica. You owe us for Tecna. And I say this as a possibly soon to be Peruvian. Yay! I have to apply for my citizenship.
Okay.
So
That's nice. You're gonna vote for me.
Yes, I am. I actually, that's the only thing I hate.
Supreme Queen of this country.
The new Sapayama.
No, I will vote for you just because to have access to the beautiful Asian Peruvian women.
Just go to Barrio Chino. Fine. But no, like the only thing about Peru is that the Constitution is really, really discriminatory for me. Like when I become a Peruvian, I have no rights, except I have to vote. That's it. That's
a duty, though. Actually, right?
Well, yeah, no, but yeah, you're right. But it's like they'll be like, here's your passport, here's your DNI. You can't join the army, the police, or run for any political office. This, and other this you can't do. Feel free to pay those taxes though, or we'll throw you in prison. Off to Castro with you, my boy.
We actually want to change the constitution. I mean, I actually support it because we have a constitution that was were flawed, but it was okay. And Fujimori changed it in 1993, and they become a completely mess. So I really hope that they actually go for it. No one actually has made it. I remember that, like the president that we have in 2011, swore on the Constitution. But I mean, you're allowed to swear wherever you want, right? To take your oath. So say, I swear on the Constitution, but the 1979 Constitution, right? We are having the 1993, the Fujimori one. So whenever any of the congressmen was, taking their oaths to the Congress, say like, I swear on name of the 1979 Constitution. Every time the Fujimori went like, like no, he started screaming. And
Was
it was
that
funny
Oyente
because
Humala?
yeah, because it
Ollanta.
was all the presidents of the all neighboring countries like Cristina, Evo, Correa, I think it was also the Chilean, what's the name? The current one, Piñera, Santos, all of them were invited, and I think it was even invited someone from Spain's representative. So they all were seeing the president take their votes and all of that, and they also say like this lady from Fujimori like no, Sakura like why she looked hysterical. So he's not cook, okay? Ollanta is not cook. It's just
Yes, he
it's
is. Nadine is la presidente.
no. Yeah,
He
but
is.
I mean, I have no
If you
problem.
look inside her
Okay,
purse, no, Yama. If you look inside the purse of Nadine, you see two little pieces of Oyente Humala. Because
no, I mean,
she
no, he's actually very, very strong, but the guy actually did a lot for, the Andes and the Amazonians. Not as much as they
wasn't his
expect.
brother a communist rebel who rebelled? Well, no, his brother was a rebel
Yes.
who rose up against the
No,
government.
he is he was a copper supremacist. He was like reivindication of the copper race, whatever that is. So everything that the Richard Spencer say about white people, he says about the copper people. Like we are supposed to be the copper people. So he wanted to, kill everybody who wasn't copper.
Well,
So
I'm done for.
he's in jail. He he say all these things and actually try to take over a police station and kill people and went insane with power and is in jail for that.
By the way,
And
sorry. Go on. But no, I just want to touch on Quebec again because it is the other thing that I put in the description, so I want to try to do it before we call this a night.
okay, I gotta go because my son just came back from his friend's house and I got to go and watch dinner and all of that. So it's been a pleasure, guys, and I'm going to also try to celebrate the winning of my party, but I really don't think I can.
Okay.
Okay, see you guys later. Take care. Bye bye.
Good night, Yama. Thank you.
Celebrate too hard.
Bye bye.
Bye.
But yeah, so that was our favorite friend, some little Yama, our cafecita, and El Reine de todos los corazones. La Reina de Corazon. She's the queen of all our hearts.
Ama.
No. No.
Oh! I now realized what I said. Oh shit.
Yeah, no, she's not. She's a good girl.
I mean, you understand what I tried to say. It was just like a reference to Mourinho and stuff like. Sorry.
No, it's
really common in Spain to be, if you call someone el puto amo, it's like the supreme overlord.
Yeah, Supremo. But no. The thing about Quebec, by the way, once again, just thanks to Yama for coming on. It's always awesome to have her on. Like, cause she did, like, and we can all admit that she kind of like got us all together where we decided to do this podcast. And I think for like episode 15, we have to have a drunk stream, and just drunkenly debate politics. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Also, it's Thanksgiving here tomorrow, so
yay! Great.
And by the way, fun fact: Newfoundland was the first place in North America to celebrate Thanksgiving
Oh,
in
didn't do that.
1560 something. So yay us! We didn't have
Okay.
corn, but we had tree bark and pine cones.
Yep.
So, another important happening of the week.
Yep.
Kavanaugh got finally confirmed.
And Twitter
Yep.
shrieked loudly,
Oh
like if
my God.
when it happened, I heard the collective voice of tens of thousands of salty people roar in unison.
Yep. And we know what he's going to do.
There was
Yep.
so much salt that Twitter got invaded by some Roman legions.
Yeah.
Hand over
Oh, God.
I mean, it's funny that the reaction from people who truly believe that cannibal was a look. I don't believe that cannibal was a saint. I mean, everyone
He was a
did.
dude, bro.
He was a dude, bro, in college. Let's admit that. But there was no evidence. There was no solid, tangible evidence that said, "Oh, he did those things." And if it was, I would have said, "Okay, there's a case to be made against Kavanaugh. Now we're going to use let the judge to decide what to do with him." But there's the problem, and the houses and it's so funny that everyone was saying, if you don't believe what the presumed victims of Kavanaugh are saying, you don't believe victims. Look, if someone comes to me and said, "Hey, look, I've been raped," I will say, "Okay, is there something I can do or something? Okay, I will help her out." But then if the evidence starts showing, no, she actually fabricated all of this, why I will believe you if the evidence doesn't go for you?
No,
I mean, this is not like just.
Sorry. Go on.
For example, this reminds me a lot of the O.J. Simpson case. There was tons of evidence, but it was proved because they played the race, but it wasn't used because they played the race card. And in the case of Kavanaugh, the fun thing is that there was no evidence, and everyone's saying, no, we should believe women. Okay, and I believe women. I believe that women can lie as any man, and I believe that those women could have lied. Now there was the argument that supposedly the four women, I forgot her name, was like because she was ugly in high school. Not in high school, no one wants to fuck her, so it was impossible that she was raped. But I was like, that's not a good argument.
Kind of
That's not an argument.
but no,
Mhm.
There we no. So go ahead.
the funny thing about sorry.
No. I finished speaking.
Like I find it strange that all these people are screaming about all of this, but at the same time we deny the one thing that makes up the the basis of our legal system, at least here in Canada, the United States. Guilt, you are innocent until proven guilty. And if I'm not a lawyer, I only pretend to be on TV, but like I keep getting evidence. Like, I mean, she says, "Well, I'm scared of flying. I have a significant fear of flying." And people were like, "Well, no, you don't, because you flew here. You take constant trips to this place and that place. On your plane, you go to Hawaii. That one says something to the credibility of the witness. You then have tests. She can't remember certain times and dates. Now, listen, that can happen when you have faced sexual abuse. I know this. I've heard from survivors of it, and things like that. So that's not always 100%, because your memory works in weird ways.
Mm-hmm.
But when you don't remember those critical details, like most people would generally remember where this happened. You can't just say house. You generally know that much. You might not know might not know your attacker's face. You might not know their certain other characteristics, but you generally do remember where it happened. And am I saying that nothing happened to her? No, but I'm just saying is that I don't know if it was Kavanaugh because the evidence just doesn't add up. All like I mean, and then the other women who came forward somewhat diminish this case because you have Ramirez, who said that Kavanaugh essentially took his penis and then hit her in the face. Which is honestly, I will probably admit, probably did happen because that's the most college thing I've ever heard of.
Yep. Yeah.
That is. It sounds like something you'd see on a like a American Pie video. Now does that make it funny? No, it's actually kind of gross. It actually is pretty gross.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, no one wants to get hit in the face with genitals. Generally.
No one.
Not in like a non-consensual way, I should say. And then there was the other one, Sweatnick, who was just like Kavanaugh was like running rape gangs, running trains on me, and there was the Devil's Triangle or something. It just got weird. So I mean,
the case lost credibility really fast because the more women that came forward, they started saying the same thing.
Says something.
Sorry.
Yeah, you said it lost credibility so fast because there was no credible evidence of any of the allegations thrown against him.
Now, like Eduardo, like you have training as a lawyer. I mean, I know it's not in these kinds of these issues, but I mean, like if you're going to a case, if you're going like before a judge, and this kind of evidence comes up, and then there's evidence to counteract that. I mean, that puts your case in doubt, I believe.
Yeah, basically, if you go to court with the so-called evidence that these people went after Kavanaugh, you're not gonna get anything. You're not going to prove anything.
No, because I mean, like all the evidence was there. Like, I mean, am I diminishing sexual assault? I'm not. I'm honestly not. Like, I will joke about some aspects of that. Like, I mean, I got to admit, I'm sorry. I'm a guy. I have some base opinions sometimes, but the fact that somebody said that one of the main allegations to disqualify this man from the Supreme Court was that he dick slapped somebody.
That sounds very funny.
I got to admit, I'm sorry. I mean, is it right? Would I like it to happen to me? God, no. I would not like somebody to hit me with their penis.
No one wants that.
No one does. But you got to admit, guys, like when you kind of think about it, and most people will chuckle in their head. Like all I can think about is Dave Chappelle in like that Dave Chappelle voice instead of like "got you, bitch." It's just Kavanaugh in his robes, like guilty bitch, and he just like whacks him. But. Like that's how he determines guilt on the Supreme Court from now on. Probably he just like he just pulls out. He calls it his gavel, and then just hits them. And I'm actually just joking, by the way, just so any feminists listening don't attack me. Good night, Paul.
I mean, let's be honest here. Is the fact that the Democrats were willing to go to any length to avoid Kavanaugh to getting to the Supreme Court. Now, I don't know if it was me.
Was getting picked. I wanted to get, what was her name there? Was it Barrett? I think it was, or Coney. I don't know. There was a female pick. And once again, guys, I got to keep clarifying because the world is crazy these days. I am not trivializing what happened to any women who were victims of sexual assault. I'm really not. I just think it's funny that was one of the accusations, hitting someone with your genitals. It doesn't make it right. And I just want to say, please do not get drunk and hit people with your genitals, or do not hit people with your genitals in general, unless it's a consenting relationship.
I mean, let's say in general, if we have obvious evidence that they happen, I will be behind these women, but these allegations are politically related. I don't see the reason, and I will repeat the same thing you said. It's not that I don't believe when someone comes forward and tell me they were raped or sexually harassed. Is not. It's the fact that when the evidence is stacking up against you, I'm going to take a stance for what the evidence told me, because I take the precedent of innocent to proving guilt. Now, that doesn't mean I believe that Kavanaugh hasn't done nothing questionable, or that he probably might do the things that they claim he did. I just say that until we can safely assume that he did such things, that he did the things he did, you say he did, like hitting you in his face, in your face with his dick, then I will be on your side. Then I will say we need to get this guy out.
But like what they did to him, and like here's the other part where they said that he doesn't have the temperament to be a Supreme Court justice, and that he's impartial. But here's the thing: he's a conservative. Everybody knew this anyway, so you're not going to be impartial. There's no such thing as a completely impartial human being. There's no such thing. We cannot have impartial people. I mean, I think it's impossible unless they're literally Buddha. So I think they're just trying to say that like he doesn't have the temperament. But I mean, you call me a rapist, and smear me and try to get me fired. Like, because I mean, listen, I'm telling you, if he didn't, well, he had to admit he was a virgin in high school to the world.
Yeah, I mean, he was slandered and accused of something without proofs in front of while the whole world was watching.
No, like he that shouldn't have happened to him, because I mean, listen, do I personally like Kavanaugh? No. He's into some really Bush era surveillance style, like some tactics, because he worked for George Bush.
Yeah.
Not old Bush, but like W. He worked for W. And he was in favor of the Patriot Act and things like that. And I'm old enough to remember the Patriot Act, and I think it was a bad idea. So, that's why I really don't like Kavanaugh. Now, if the drinking is still a thing, I also am not I'm not in favor of this, because I don't want a drunk Supreme Court judge. This is a very important position, and you should have a certain amount of restraint. But now, otherwise, the FBI has done 7 investigations on Kavanaugh. I'm going to agree with the FBI in this case. And here's the thing: people say, I had somebody tell me that the FBI was, this is all set up by Trump. He's got the FBI in his pocket, and I'm just like, are you joking? All Trump's done is crap on the FBI. They really don't like him. There was, you look at what's his name there, Stroznik. That him, like, these are FBI agents messaging each other back and forth, conspiring against the president. Not in a violent sense, but like, they're crapping on him. The FBI does not like Donald Trump. They would probably like to see him gotten rid of, because he's embarrassed and humiliated their agency. So you would think that any candidate that he brings up, they're not going to give him special treatment. So that's just what I think. So I think for now is that if there's no credible evidence in the whole Kavanaugh thing, let sleeping dogs. Not let sleeping dogs lie, but like let it just go through. And if any other evidence comes up, we should look at him, and it's credible evidence. I think he should be impeached from the Supreme Court.
And also, there's this thing that after all this Kavanaugh debate, the enthusiasm of Democrats and Republicans on both sides is really high for the next midterm election. So I think there will be a big turnout of voters.
Yeah, it will be. Because most Americans have already seen that the Democrats are willing to use rape allegations as a weapon to get people out of politics, basically. So
yeah, and I do not think this is going to end up well for any of one of them. I think the all the Democrats and the Republicans will retain their seats they have, or like the
I hope so. It's hard to say though because
I mean, both sides are talking about, the Democrats are saying that there's a blue wave coming, but the Republicans are saying, no, 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 there's a red wave coming. I don't think there's anything coming. Like, I think it's going to get a real, it's going to be as it is now. Like, Republicans leading by a minimal margin, but I mean, in the long term, it's that will be a defeat for the Democrats because they they couldn't recover the House and the Senate with the most unpopular president of the Republican Party in recent times.
and yes, and you know, I'll grant you that, guys. There is a tragic thing that's happened though. 20 people died in a limo accident in New York.
Oh my God!
Oh,
Like 18 people were killed in two vehicles, and then 2 pedestrians were hit by the limo. And it was for somebody's birthday, so that's
shit.
that's actually horrifying. And so I just want to say my thoughts are with the people who are, the families of those affected, because that's really fucked up to happen.
It is.
But I just want to touch really, really quickly on Legault because it's midnight here, and we've been running the stream for ages, and God bless Llama for making it fun. But I just want to say this: the thing about Legault is that he's already planning to invoke the notwithstanding clause, the same clause that Doug Ford was going to enact to change the size of the Toronto City Council. And guess what it's to change? It's to block any change. It's to block any challenges to his upcoming ban on all religious headwear and visible religious items, because Legault is a huge secularist, and he believes that religion has zero place in Quebec.
Wow.
And and this is going to include the hijab, the yarmulke, I believe the Sikh turban, crosses, things like that. It's all going out. And so the left was like, well, listen, we'll sue you, we'll do this, we'll do that. And Legault was just like, 2 words: notwithstanding. And Justin Trudeau got involved.
Oh.
And of course, being the defender of women and minorities, he said every woman should have a right to wear a hijab. It's not the government's idea to tell us what to wear, or tell women what to wear. And I found it hilarious because I was like, you're telling women that, the government shouldn't tell them what to wear, but you're telling us what pronouns we have to use.
Exactly.
So I mean, but nobody picks up on that. And Trudeau's done, but Legault is going to. I actually think he's going to be good for Quebec. He's probably going to be bad for Newfoundland because he's going to hardball us. And right now, Quebec has got Newfoundland over a barrel with his pants down. And he's just getting the KY out. So because we built the hydro dam, and I'm gonna have to send you guys off stream the link to the inquiry on that, because it's a shit show. It's got everything. It's literally like corruption times like a billion. And it involves Costco. Partly.
Oh, really?
It led to the building of a Costco. And because the former premier of Newfoundland built a new town, like literally created a new town, and then stole the Costco from St. John's and moved it to this community just outside of St. John's. And there's rumor going around that he had this hydroelectric project created and commissioned just so he could power this new town.
Mm-hmm.
But with the investigation, will never reveal that because there's so many different things at stake here in terms of party control and things like that. But guys, Legault is going to be interesting. You're going to see a few of Trudeau's policies get beat down because Legault is not a big environmentalist and is not a he's not a liberal, so he's not going to get along with Trudeau. So with that, I guess it is midnight, and I think we should call it a night. And
just have stuff to do right now.
Yeah, so guys, and by the way, the next round will be on the 28th of October. So that's going to be for Bolsonaro, so that's going to be fun.
Yeah, it will be fun.
I think what day is that? Is on the 28th. That's
It's Sunday.
Oh, guys, we have to live that.
Yeah.
We have to do like
3 weeks from now.
So we have to prepare for this, but I just want to thank you guys again for doing this stream with us. I mean, it's 10 interesting, somewhat incredibly controversial episodes full of bad jokes and weird commentary, but it's still awesome.
Yeah, it'll be fun. That's the idea.
Alex McKenna, no, I am not pro Bolsonaro. I am not into authoritarian military figures. I'm kind of centrist. With some fiscal, I'm a fiscal conservative. That's as far right as I'm going. I'm not gonna like lock up the LGBT community and ban race mixing. I'm not gonna do any of this because
we love race mixing.
Well, yes, I don't date white women. So yay me. That's my defense.
Since I consider myself a conservatarian, I might agree with some of Bolsonaro's stance, but certainly not the whole package.
No, yeah. Like the whole military apologist thing really turns me off. And Chile definitely knows all about military coups.
Yeah, we have here.
And helicopter stunts. But
yes.
Yeah. Like that's why Chile is the leading manufacturer of helicopters and helicopter technology.
And helicopter rides.
and parachutes and helicopter-based parachutes. They're necessary. Why are we guys? By the way, quick notice. Do you notice that we're getting more viewers when we're wrapping it up?
Yeah. But, thank you, Paul Kahn and Alex McKenna.
Yeah, it is. Make sure you come into our next episode. We will strive to make it a little more organized than this, but it was just so much fun. And so I guess that's it for me. And you guys want to say anything before we wrap it up?
Thank you. Be sure to follow us on Twitter. The handle is the Nets QP _ podcast.
Yep. And follow our individual Twitters as well. They're listed in the description of the podcast on Twitter. I have to start putting those into the descriptions, but either way, we'll cross this bridge because we're still learning.
Yes. We're newbies into this.
We are. We're trying. We're a little bit edgy. We're not pug dog edgy, but we're getting there. Just kidding. Kidding. I don't want the cops at my door. But yeah. So with that, this was another edition of the Qué Pasó Podcast. Buenas noches, everyone.
Buenas noches. Good night.